Hello, good morning from London. My name is Anna. This is English Like a Native. And this Saturday morning, we're talking about making excuses. Now, we've all, I'm sure, had to excuse ourselves in one way or another, or made excuses for something. So I thought this would be a very good, fun topic to cover in today's British English lesson. Of course, I am British myself. I live here in London. I was born in England. But whether you're learning American English or British English, it's all pretty much the same. There's a few different words and a few different phrases and a slightly different culture, but generally it's the same. So even if you're learning American English, then hopefully you'll find this helpful. So good morning, everyone. Hello. Tell me where you're watching from, how you're feeling today. Somebody here has stolen our sunshine. We were supposed to have a nice sunny weekend, and I woke up this morning, it was raining. And although it's still warm, the clouds are looking menacing. So I'm not very happy. But then again, I am inside working, talking to you lovely people. So maybe it's not so bad. But what's the weather like in your country? So today I also have my patrons present because this is another interactive writing lesson. So my patrons, good morning patrons, hello, hello, hello. You guys are going to be getting the chance to interact with me. So I will ask you to do some writing and I will correct your writing mistakes. And also I have made notes as always. And so the notes, we're going to be adding to these as we go through. So these will extend as we go through the lesson today. And anyone who is feeling like they want to support this channel with a super chat will receive the notes that I've made for this lesson. So, hello Salem from Australia. It's raining in Australia. Oh, well, we're like twins. It's raining here in England and it's raining there in Australia, so I feel you. In Iraq it's hot. It's hot like hell. Hot like hell, not hot like a hell. Good. Well, maybe good. Maybe it's too hot. If it's hot like hell, then it's too hot. It's cold in Australia, so two of you in Australia. Hello in Ukraine. Hello in Taiwan. Nice of you to join me. Hello in India, Iran. The sun is shining in Iran. Hi MK, how are you? Indonesia, it's raining in the summer. Hi in Norway. In France, hello. Some of you are watching from London. Hi, not so far away. Morocco, got lots of people here. Lovely. Fabulous. Well, if you are here and you're not a subscriber, then do be sure to press that big red subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future lessons. And if you are here and you know me well, then you know I like a thumb. So let's see, for a Saturday morning, I don't go live on Saturdays very often, but let's see if we can really share the love this Saturday morning and get those thumbs up to, let's set a target, let's say 300. Can we possibly get 300 thumbs this morning? I mean, we only have 67 people watching right now, so probably not. But share this with anybody, with your Facebook friends, with your Twitter friends, then maybe we can get this class rocking on a Saturday morning. All right, without further ado, let's look at making excuses. All right, so what does excuse actually mean? So we actually have a couple of different meanings. So we have excuse, the verb. And this is either to seek to lessen the blame attached to a fault or an offence. So to try and justify something. So if something bad's happened, an offence has been committed or there is a fault, you try to justify it or to lessen the blame. For example, I cannot excuse your behaviour is the example sentence. So someone has been behaving badly and you're saying, please excuse my bad behaviour, I was in a bad mood. Or I was having a bad day, so excuse my behaviour. I might say, I cannot excuse your bad behaviour. No, I don't accept that. You can't justify it. So to excuse, to lessen the blame, or to try to justify. It could also mean to release someone from a duty or a requirement. For example, when I was a young girl, I always had to sit and eat Sunday dinner with my family, with my grandma and my granddad, my mother, my father, and whoever else was visiting, my aunties, uncles. And I would always finish my dinner very quickly because I wanted to play games or I wanted to watch cartoons on the television. And I would sit there and be like, I want to get away from the table. But I was required to sit at the table until everybody had finished eating. That was my duty. My requirement was to stay at the table, even though I didn't want to. But sometimes, if I asked nicely, if I said, please can I be excused from the table? Then sometimes my grandma would say, yes, you're excused, or yes, you may be excused. And that would mean I didn't have to fulfill my requirement. I didn't have to stay at the table. Okay, so to release someone from duty or requirement. So excuse. But excuse, written the same way, is also a noun. And as a noun, it is a reason or an explanation given to justify. So you excuse yourself, and that is the act. But as a noun, it is an excuse. He gave me a poor excuse for his tardiness. Does anybody know what tardiness means? To be tardy. Anybody? Anybody know what tardy means? Patrons, anyone here know what tardy means? Okay, I'll tell you. Tardy is to be late. If you are tardy, you are late. So if you show tardiness, then you show lateness. And Christoph, very well done. Yes, you jumped in there. So tardy is to be late. So he was trying to excuse his tardiness. So he was giving a reason to justify being late. And the explanation that he gave, that is his excuse. So the explanation is the excuse. And the sentence that we looked at here is, he gave a poor excuse. It was a rubbish excuse. He gave a poor excuse for his tardiness. So an explanation. It can also, excuse can also mean a poor, inadequate example of. Now, we use this phrase quite a lot. He is, she is, you are a pathetic excuse for a, and then either man, woman, police officer, father, mother. So it's to say that you are a poor example of. So you are a pathetic excuse for a man. Or if a man is not doing his duty as a father, so he's not providing for his children, perhaps he's not available to his children emotionally, maybe he doesn't care about his kids, then it would be quite right for me to say to him, you are a pathetic excuse for a father. Okay, so that's a phrase we use a lot, a pathetic excuse for. It might be that there's a dog, a guard dog. I buy a guard dog to protect me. And then when a bad man comes to the door and tries to break in, the guard dog starts cowering in the corner, crying and shaking, going, arr! And then maybe when the bad man breaks in, he's all friendly to the bad man and like licks him and wags his tail. That would be a pathetic excuse for a guard dog. He is a very poor example of a guard dog. I hope that makes sense. Hello, more of my patrons are joining in here. Hello, David. Hello, Gal. Hello, Eric. Nice of you guys to be present. Cool. So, does that make sense, what we've covered so far? French people say tard means late. Okay, so it comes from a French word. Tardy comes from a French word. I didn't know. Tada in Spanish means to be late. Okay, so it works across a few languages. Great. Fabulous. So let's carry on. What I wanted to ask you was, did you know the difference in pronunciation between the verb excuse and the noun excuse? It can sometimes confuse my students and I regularly have to correct it. And here is a way to remember it. Excuse as a verb, so to do, to excuse, has a Z sound. Excuse me, excuse me. It's a stronger sound. Excuse as a noun is an S sound. Excuse. Do you have an excuse? I cannot give you an excuse. So let me just show you those. To do, excuse. So just think about being, someone has bumped into you, they've banged into you, and very, very abruptly, and you say, excuse me. It's what we say in the UK often if we are shocked and disgruntled. If someone has been rude, we go, excuse me. And so think about being more firm. You're shocked, you're frustrated. Excuse me. So we have the stronger sound. Excuse me. That's one way to remember. And then the soft, to give an excuse. If you give an excuse, you are probably nervous, hoping that no one finds out your lies. So you're soft, you do an S sound. Excuse. It's an excuse. Excuse me. I'm giving you an excuse. Okay, these are just little tricks that I use to remember the different pronunciations or anything really. I always think if you can attach an idea to something you're learning, it's much easier to remember. So I hope that helped. I hope you don't think that I'm just this mad British woman who does strange things on YouTube. Okay, yes, it makes sense, says Syed. Great, fabulous, thank you very much. Great, okay, so let's move right along, shall we? Why do we make excuses? And this is where we start to do our interaction here. Why do we make excuses? And I just want to point out here this word. We make an excuse. We don't do an excuse. I regularly hear the misuse of make and do. Yes, so normally I would hear people saying things like, I do an excuse, but you make an excuse, and we do usually have to use that. I'm not making excuses. I can't make any excuses for him. I can't think of any other sentences off the top of my head. I need to make up an excuse. So to make up, phrasal verb, to make up is to create, to imagine, to create is probably the best thing. To make up. I can't make up any excuses right now. I can't think of anything to say. He made his excuses and left. So we always use this verb make, or often we will use the verb make. So why? Why do we make excuses? Why do we feel the need to lie? Why do we do that? Well, here are some thoughts. We do it because we don't want to do something, or because we can't be bothered. Have you heard this phrase before? Can't be bothered. This means that you don't have the motivation to do it. I can't be bothered. You'll normally hear teenagers saying, I can't be bothered. They can't be bothered to get up. They can't be bothered to do their work. They can't be bothered to do the household chores. They can't be bothered to come and sit down at the table for dinner. I can't be bothered. Everybody does use it though, not just teenagers. I know as a teenager, I said it all the time. Oh, but Mum, I can't be bothered. I don't want to hang out with the family. I can't be bothered. I don't want to wash up. That's my northern accent, by the way. So can't be bothered, a phrase we use a lot. So you make an excuse because you don't want to do something. And this is where I need you to give me some examples. So what things have you made up excuses for? So thinking about things that you don't want to do, something you don't want to do, what have you made an excuse for? So how have you excused yourself out of something, and what was it? Here are some examples that I thought of. I couldn't be bothered to wash up, so I didn't like washing up. So I would normally make an excuse to get out of doing the washing up. That's a good phrase actually to think about. I had to think of an excuse to get out of doing the, and then it could be washing up, ironing, hoovering, etc., etc. Let me just make this a different colour so that we can... Oh, and I'll put it in italics as well. There we go. Let's put that in orange. Oh no, that's too bright. Let's do it that way. I had to think of an excuse to get out of. You could also say to get out of going. To get out of going to the party. To get out of is a way of excusing yourself. I wanted to get out of doing it. I wanted to get out of going. I wanted to get out of the relationship. So it's to remove yourself from something. To remove yourself from something. What my patron's saying here. Oh, why is that frozen? Oh no. My Skype has frozen, so let me just replace that. Can I do it midstream? Let me see. Why is that frozen? All right, bear with me just 1 second. So while I'm doing this, Gal has asked, what is hoovering? Does anybody here know what hoovering is? If I said to you, can you get the Hoover out? Do you know what I mean? Can you get the Hoover out? A Hoover is a vacuum. A Hoover is a vacuum. A Hoover is actually a very popular, a very famous brand of vacuum cleaner. What you clean the floors and carpets with. An electric floor cleaner is probably the best way to explain it. And we have taken to calling it a Hoover. Even if it's not the brand Hoover, we just call a vacuum a Hoover, and we do the hoovering. It's become a verb all on its own. Okay? So Shalabek had to think of an excuse to get out of mowing the lawn. Fabulous. Patrons, do you have any other things that you might have tried to excuse yourself from? Things that you don't like doing? Chores? Jobs? I'm going to have a quick look here now at my YouTube wall. You guys are saying, I can't be bothered cleaning the house either. I feel you on that one. Sometimes it feels like a never-ending task. You start in one room, you clean all the way through, the next day it's messy again, you have to keep cleaning, it's never-ending. I don't like cleaning either. I mean, I'm very clean, but I don't like cleaning. I made excuses, or an excuse, so I made an excuse for my brother, because he told me to give him a hand, but I didn't want to. Radwan wants to get out of washing the dishes. Yep, washing the dishes, another word, another way of saying washing up, to wash the dishes. I had to make an excuse to get out of washing the dishes. Christoph, I had to think of an excuse to get out of making a speech. Good, so you didn't want to make a speech publicly. So you had to make an excuse to get out of making a speech. I'd love to know what you did. And Christoph, you're a patron, so come and talk to me on the Skype group so I can then show your comments on the video. For those of you who don't know, the Skype group is for patrons, And if you would like to get involved with that, patrons get a little extra love because they help support the channel. So I give them extra rewards in return. So if you want to get involved with that, you can. You need to go to the link in the description of this video. All right. So Gal has said, can you hear me now? Okay, great. So, sorry, I'll just say that again. Gal, you are correct. To get out of studying, perfect. And always with excuse as a noun, we use an excuse, an excuse. Thank you, Dennis, for letting me know about the audio issue. That's because I had to reset this window. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's go back to our worksheet. So washing up is something you might try to get out of because you don't want to do it. You might try to get out of going to an event, like a party or a meeting or a workshop. Maybe you don't want to do it, maybe it's work related or you're just too tired or it's not very exciting, so you make an excuse because you can't be bothered to go. Lots of people have at some point made an excuse to get out of going to work. And I'll tell you something. We call this, let me just highlight this in a different colour. Should we go with green? To get out of. Lots of people, when they're trying to get out of going to work, or excuse, how do I best explain this? To get out of going to work, this is called to pull a sickie. To pull a sickie. Let's put that in green as well. I like these colours. Fabulous. So to pull a sickie, has anyone heard this before? Have you been at work and said, where is Sheila? And you said, well, she's pulled a sickie today. Probably your boss wouldn't say that because pulling a sickie is pretending you're sick so you don't have to go to work. It's bad. So you wake up in the morning and go, oh, it's a beautiful sunny day. I'd rather be in the garden sunbathing than going to work. So you decide to phone work and you go, hi, yes, it's Anna here. I'm not feeling very well. No, I've got a very sore throat and my head is banging and I won't be in work today. And they say, oh, you sound dreadful, Anna. Do go and have a rest, relax. And then I'm like, yeah, I got the day off work. That is pulling a sickie. I just pulled a sickie. Of course, if they then found out, if I go in tomorrow beautifully brown and like completely 100% healthy, then they're going to know that I pulled a sickie and that they might have a word with me and tell me off. Letty has said, you know about pulling a sickie. Have you pulled a sickie, Letty, ever? Has anyone here ever pulled a sickie? I definitely have pulled a sickie. Never from teaching, because that's my company, my work, my job, I'm responsible. But when I've worked in jobs that I haven't cared about, when I've worked at Boots, I used to work at Boots the chemist, or when I've worked in a factory, or when I worked handing out leaflets, then those awful boring jobs, then I've pulled a sickie plenty of times. Oh, okay, Zahia, you have to go. My lovely moderator, you have to go. All right, well, thank you for joining us and hopefully see you again some other time. Yes, so Syed, Said, I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right. You've said it correctly. Pulling a sickie means to pretend to be sick, to get time off work. MK, when I was a schoolboy, you pulled a sickie. So yes, you don't just have to pull a sickie from work, you can pull a sickie from school. So if you want to get out of going to school or college or university, although at university you just decide to turn up or you don't, at school they would want to know, and your parents will want to know why you're not at school. So you pull a sickie, so you'd be like, Mum, I feel sick. I don't want to go to school today. I feel too sick. I've definitely pulled a sickie from school. Definitely. Good. Okay. Gal, let's see what you're saying here. If I were your boss, I would have come to visit you at home to find out. That should be to find out. If I were your boss, I would have come to visit your home. So you need an R at the end there. Your. Oh, sorry, my mistake. I would come to visit you at home to find out. So to find out or to check in on you would be another one. Sławek, if I pulled a sickie, don't use to. If I pulled a sickie, you have to eat a lot of ice cream to prove your illness. So like this, Sławek. If in fact, I think it would be if you pulled a sickie on me, so pretending you're my boss, if you pulled a sickie on me, I would make you eat lots of ice cream. Can everyone see this well enough on the screen, by the way? I would make you eat lots of ice cream to prove your illness. Can everyone see that all right on the screen? Hopefully you can. Letty, yes, I did pull a sickie some years ago when I worked in an office. I had to study hard for a university exam, so I pulled a sickie at work. That seems quite reasonable. I mean, most people pull a sickie because they can't be bothered, but you pulled a sickie for a good reason, so I back you up on that one, Letty. Good for you. Salem says, I pulled a sickie when I was a schoolboy. Ali, Anna, is it correct to ask what number of months of the year is September? Okay, so that's off topic, Ali, so I'm just going to skip over that one for the moment. I'm just going to stay on topic, okay? But I might have time at the end for just general questions, so hold on to that one and stick with me to the end. All right, so pull a sickie. We've got down the general sense of that one. You might want to get out of a date. So if you're going on a date with a lovely man or a lovely lady, then you might decide, actually, I'm not really feeling it. Or maybe you've dated them before and you don't really want to see them again. So you might think of an excuse to get out of going on a date. Or you might think of an excuse to get out of something because you're scared. So if I invite you to come and jump out of a plane with me, do a skydive with me, and you say, yeah, sure. And then after thinking about it, you're like, I'm really scared. I don't want to do it, but I said I would do it. Oh, what can I do? I'll make an excuse. I'll tell them I'm sick or something. I'll tell them my doctor said I can't do anything like skydiving. Okay? So these are some of the reasons why you might think of an excuse because you don't want to do something. What other reasons? You might think of excuses because you're covering up for something, because we are covering something up. To cover something up is to hide something. So it's literally like throwing a cover over something so people cannot see. But we also then use this to cover up, this phrasal verb, we use this to mean to hide anything. So normally it's to do with crimes or doing something wrong. breaking something, having an accident, and you don't want anyone to know that you're to blame or that you had anything to do with it, so you cover it up. For example, I have a story for you. I went away on the cruise ships for a few years, and I left my car with my friend. And I was away for 2 years, and my friend had a car accident in my car and damaged the front of the car. But she was so scared to tell me. She didn't want to be blamed, or she didn't want to deal with my reaction. She didn't know if I would be angry, perhaps, I don't know. But she didn't want to deal with that. So instead of facing up to it, she went to the garage. She had a mechanic fix the car. She paid for it all. And then she pretended nothing had happened because it looked the same. Unfortunately, there was more damage inside the car that later caused me a lot of problems, and that's how I found out. But she covered up an accident so that she wouldn't get into trouble or it wouldn't cause any problems between us. Okay, so have you ever covered up something that you've broken or something you've done wrong? I know I did a lot of covering up when I was a child. You know, you break something, you blame it on your brother. Always, that was the good excuse. It was my brother. It wasn't me, it was my brother. Even if they knew I did it, I'd say, my brother made me do it. Yeah, brother made me do it. My brother, bless him, he was always the scapegoat. Okay. Quite rightly, one of you just said, maybe sometimes we need to be honest. And there's, so I'm not quite sure, that doesn't quite make sense. But you mean maybe we should just be honest and not make excuses? Absolutely. Sometimes it's better to just be open and honest. Christoph has said, I have to think of an excuse to get out of preparing a student's teaching for not missing Anna's live lesson. Christoph, I'm not quite sure that structure works. I don't quite understand it. And Christoph, come and talk to me on Skype. You're a patron. Come to Skype. I think excuse internally means to execute the truth. I'm not quite sure I understand that sentence either. Okay, Salem says, I covered up my failure result to my parents. Oh, that's a good one. So you didn't do very well in an exam. Your results weren't what you expected or what your parents expected, and you didn't want to deal with your parents' reaction. You didn't want to disappoint them, so you covered up. You made an excuse. You lied about it. Interesting. Gal has said, are you still friends? Oh no, not that one. Are you still friends with her, you should say. Are you still friends with her after she had covered this up? Yes, in fact, I never actually confronted her about it. I never brought it up with her because I also felt embarrassed about the whole thing. She had kept it a secret for so long. I didn't want to embarrass her by bringing it up and calling her out. So I just decided to leave it. I fixed the car and I left it. All right, so let's have a look back at the notes. So we cover something up. We also make excuses because we don't want to deal with the truth. This is a slightly more serious one. We make excuses either for ourselves or for other people. So, for example, if someone is abusing you or bullying you, we might make excuses for them. I was once in a relationship with a man who was a bully. He would bully me, and everyone would say, why are you with him? He's such a bully. He's horrible to you. You shouldn't put up with it. And I would make excuses for him and say, oh, no, he's lovely, really. He's just having a very bad time at the moment. Or, you don't know him like I do. He's really, him being like that, it means he loves me. Or, it's just his way of communicating with me. So I'd make all these excuses for somebody else because I didn't want to deal with the truth that he was a bully and that he was abusive. So sometimes we make excuses because we don't want to deal with the truth. I've also written here illness. So sometimes we're covering up an illness. We don't want people to know that we're sick, or we don't want to accept that we're sick or accept that we have a problem. And there's lots of cases like this. There's lots of mental health issues, things like depression, anxiety, maybe eating disorders like anorexia, bulimia. People don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to deal with the truth. So even though deep down they probably know they have a problem, they don't want to talk about it in public. They don't want to deal with it. So they just make excuses. Why aren't you eating? I'm not hungry. I ate earlier. So they make these excuses to excuse their illness. I don't know why I did this. They make excuses to deal with their illness. So that's another reason why people might make excuses. My mum and I, Letty, be aware that mom, spelt M-O-M, is very American. Mum in the UK, in British English, is M-U-M. That's one of the differences. Obviously, you can write it however you like, but just be aware. My mum and I covered up a scratch I made on my father's car when I still was a learner driver. So the other way around, Letty. So you're a learner driver, not when I was driving learner. That doesn't work. So when I was a learner driver, my mum and I covered up a scratch I made on my father's car when I was still a learner driver. I felt so bad. Oh, bless you. That was kind of your mum to stick behind you though. Sławek, when I was young, I covered up that I had a red eye because I tried to charge a normal battery and it blows me up. Oh, goodness me. This should be, it blew me up in the past. It blew me up. And I think you mean a black eye. So if your eye was bruised, we call it a black eye. A black eye. Unless the actual white of your eye is red, then that would work. But if the eye is bruised, if there's bruising around the eye, that's a black eye. So when I was young, I covered up that I had a black eye because I tried to charge a normal battery and it blew me up. Alrighty. Alrighty, how are we all doing? Are we feeling good? Ahmed, you're not reading my comments. Just to be aware, normally I find it very hard to read all the comments anyway because lots of you comment. It's wonderful that you do, but I can only see a few at a time. But also this particular session, so some sessions are dedicated to patrons only. They used to be private sessions for patrons only, and then my patrons and I discussed it and thought it would be best to open up the lessons to everyone to watch, but the focus is still on the patrons. That is their reward for helping to support this channel, for helping me to help you. They support the channel so I can provide English lessons to anybody who wants to learn English. And so because they help me, I give them extra attention. So please don't take it personally. It's just, this is how these things work. I have to give them extra attention because, you know, it's a way of saying thank you. And I am trying to read some of your comments on YouTube as well. And if I don't, it's nothing personal. It's just that I've not seen it and I've not had chance to respond, okay? So, but I hope you still find the lesson useful, even if I can't respond to you. Okay, so, oh dear. So Sławek said, actually what happened was it was red. It was red. It was red because some of the chemicals got into my eye. It was red because some of the chemicals got into my eye. Oh dear. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. It was red because some of the chemicals got into my eye. But don't worry, not I, it wasn't a serious issue. Good, I'm glad. I was getting a little worried then. All right, my darlings, let's get back to this. So, what to avoid? So when you're making excuses, for those of you who are, what should we call you, professional excuse makers, those of you who've made many excuses, or maybe you're very bad at making excuses, what should we avoid when making excuses? Of course, ideally, we wouldn't ever make excuses because it's technically lying and it's not good to lie, but we've all done it. So what should we avoid when we make excuses? Well, I've said avoid getting caught red-handed. Have you heard this phrase? To get caught red-handed. If you get caught red-handed, it means you are caught in the act of doing something wrong. For example, if I am about to drink somebody else's drink, nobody's looking, and I think, do you know what? No one's looking. I'm just going to drink his drink. And if then someone sees me doing it, I was just testing it. I was caught red-handed. If in this case, in this scenario, if I had pulled a sickie from work and instead of going to work, I went to a theme park, which is an adventure park with roller coasters and rides. If I went to a theme park, I would, and my boss has a day off and my boss is at the theme park and he sees me. Hi! Oh, yes, I'm not feeling well, but I thought a roller coaster would make me feel better. I've been caught red-handed. So to be caught red-handed is to be caught in the act. You can also use it for criminals. If a criminal is caught stealing if they're caught in the middle of a robbery, in a bank, for example, then they've been caught red-handed. Da 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 da. What are you guys saying here? Okay, should we see how many thumbs we've got? Should we see? Is it going to be bad? Is it going to upset me? 67. Oh, we've only got 67 thumbs, and the aim is 300. Guys, can you help me out here? There's over 100 of you here, so can I get some more thumbs? Can we get that into 3 figures? No excuses now. Come on. There's no reason why you cannot just click that thumb. Come on, 71. Come on, let's get that up. I'm going to do some lift music while I'm waiting. Lift music is like ba 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 bum 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 ba bum ba dum ba dum ba do 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 da da. Just kind of music while you're waiting. Come on, 78. Come on, let's get it up. Ba ba do da ba da da. It's a Saturday. I'm feeling crazy. 80. Come on. Do da da ba ba do do. Just one little click on that thumb. Give it a thumbs up for Saturday. It's funny, I always sing in American accent. Isn't that weird? Oh, now she wants to pay attention. Yeah, I'm paying attention now, Theos. Give me a thumb. Do 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 da da ba. 88, we're nearly there. 12 more thumbs. 89, 11 more thumbs. If you've already done it once, don't do it again because it will go down. And I'm going to drink coffee while we're waiting. Come on, guys. It's just a little click. Just a little click, click. How many are in here anyway? We have 114. I think some people have me on in the background and they're not really paying attention. Oh, now it's just gone down. Don't click it twice, just the once. Oh, I don't think we're going to make 100. My lift music isn't good enough. Maybe if I sing something else. I don't know. Yeah, don't wait till the broadcast is over. Thumb it. Thumb it. Give me a thumb. Oh, I'm so sad. We're not even going to break 3 figures. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Maybe, I don't know, maybe get your friends in. See if they... Oh, 91. It's just jumped a few. Can we do it? Okay, I'll give it a few minutes. And in the meantime, let's get... Lots of you are saying you're a good actor. You're a good actor. If those of you who don't know my background, I am a trained actress. I'm a trained actress and singer. I went to do a 3-year degree at the Birmingham School of Speech and Drama, and then I did a 1-year master's degree at the Royal Academy of Music for singing. So that's my background. I am an actress. That is what I do. So yeah, those of you who don't know, now you know. Oh, we're so close. 97. 97. Come on, please. Please, please, please. 1, 2, 3. I'm not begging. I'm not begging. We're going to get back. We're going to get 98, 98. All right, 99. Oh, are we going to hit 100? Boom, boom. This is what I think about you guys. Ba, 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 da, ba. I love you guys. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. So today I won't feel like poo. I love these. Today, all day, I'm going to feel like this. All right, thank you guys. You are awesome. So let's get back to the lesson. Enough dilly-dallying. Letty, you know what I mean. Who else has heard of the phrase dilly-dally? The verb dilly-dally. To dilly-dally. To dilly-dally, I'll write it out for you so you know how it's spelt. I'm just going to write it here quickly for you. Dilly-dally. To dilly-dally is a great word, and I want all of you to try and use this word today or this weekend. To dilly-dally is to kind of be idle, to be going somewhere but doing it in a kind of idle way, without focus. Yes, to waste time, says Letty. That's right, to waste time, to dilly-dally. So if I have to walk to the shop, and it would normally take me 3 minutes to walk to the shop, but instead I mess around, I don't go directly there, maybe I pick up stones or pluck flowers from next door's garden. I dilly-dally. So I am dilly-dallying. I think it's a wonderful word, to dilly-dally. Don't dilly-dally. So I want you all to try and use that word. Okay, that verb. It's fabulous. All right, so what to avoid? So we've talked about getting caught red-handed. You don't want to get caught red-handed. You could simply say to get caught out. You don't want to be caught out. If you're caught out, it's the same as being caught red-handed. So you could say, my husband was cheating on me, but he was caught out by my sister. He was caught red-handed by my sister. He was caught out by my sister. So that's just another way of saying it. So to be caught out. Now, you don't want to be seeming suspicious, or you don't want to be coming across as suspicious. So in this context, to be seeming or to be coming across as is the same as to appear. Oh, I've lost it down the page. It's the same as to appear. Let's give this a bit of space. So seeming suspicious, coming across as suspicious, to appear. Or you could just say you don't want to appear suspicious. So in a sentence, let me just, so that this isn't too confusing for you, you could say he is, okay, let's do it like this. He seems suspicious. That's a great word, suspicious. All S's, suspicious. He seems suspicious. She is coming across as suspicious. I don't trust her. Why not? Because she's coming across as suspicious. I will appear suspicious if I walk in with a watermelon. I don't know, something bizarre. Let's make these a different colour. What colour should we make it? Ooh, blue. He seems suspicious. She is coming across as suspicious. I will appear suspicious. If. No, we don't have to use that. You could just do it like that. Alrighty. So these are all the same sort of phrases, but maybe ones you haven't heard before. Maybe you haven't heard this before, to come across as. To come across as. Another thing you want to avoid is weaving a tangled web of deception. To weave a tangled web of deception. I feel that this comes from a Shakespeare thing. Shakespeare coined a lot of our common phrases, a lot of our common words. Many of them come from Shakespeare. And Shakespeare has a quote which is, "Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive." Isn't that wonderful? Oh, what a tangled web. A web like a spider web. A web to catch. A web that takes you, that catches you up. So, oh, what a tangled web. So tangled is to be all intertwined and, yeah, linked up. Tangled. If your hair is tangled, it's knotty. It's not good. So, oh, what a tangled web we weave. To weave is to, you weave clothes, you weave, not anymore, I think it's all done by machine, but to weave is to create cloth. To weave. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. So what a tangled mess to get caught up in we create. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. When first we practice, when we start practicing to deceive. So when we try to lie and deceive other people, we create a tangled mess that gets us all caught up, is basically what that means. Does that make sense? I'm sorry, I'm quoting Shakespeare now. I hope I haven't scared anyone. I love Shakespeare. I'm an actress. I love Shakespeare. And I think it's such a beautiful and an educational quote. It's a good thing to remember. What a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. If you tell lies, then you're going to have to tell more lies to keep that deception going, and more lies, and then you forget your lies, and then you'll have to make up excuses as to why that lie didn't work. It's a mess. Jana, you've written that down for me. Fabulous. I'm going to copy and paste that into this notepad so that everyone can see it. So, oh, what a tangled web we weave, like this. When first we practice to deceive. Shakespeare. 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 What colour should we do this one? We'll put it in italics, I think. Italics. And let's do red. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Fabulous. So you want to avoid weaving a tangled web of deception. If you are going to create an excuse, a lie, then keep it simple. Keep it close to reality. If you do a big, exaggerated, crazy lie as an excuse, then you will probably come unstuck. Ooh, have you heard that one before? Come unstuck. Shall we write this one down? This is a good one. So where have I written it? To come unstuck. To come unstuck is to, how do I explain this? To come unstuck. To come unstuck is like, if you're stuck, I'm just trying to find a good explanation for it. So to start to fail after progress has been achieved. So you might do all right initially, you get away with the initial lie, but after a while, if you tell too many lies, then you will start to fail. So you will come unstuck. And the come unstuck can be used for many different things, not just for lying. Let's do this in green and not italic. Oh, actually, we'll do it like that and then make this black. Ba-ba! There, to come unstuck. Have you ever come unstuck? Because you, for example, I was playing hockey. I was the captain of the hockey team at school and we were doing very well. We got to the county finals and we were going to win, and it came down to a penalty shootout at the end. And because I shuffled my feet, I did a very silly little move. It was an accident. I shuffled my feet when I should only take 1-2 steps, hit the ball. I did a shuffle. Then I came unstuck. I missed. I got the penalty and we would have won, but the referee discounted my goal because I shuffled. So I came unstuck. As a team, we came unstuck because we'd done very well, and then because of my little mistake, we failed. So, alrighty. Let's carry on. Are you guys all right? Let me. I've lost the board. Let me say hello to you guys. You should think a lot about what you're going to tell others to make a tangled web to avoid coming unstuck. Yes, if you are going to weave lies, then you need to think very carefully. That wasn't Shakespeare, it was Walter Scott. Really? Really? I've definitely heard that in a Shakespeare play, but also maybe it's also been used by Walter Scott. In fact, I feel like I need to check this now. Let me copy this and try the old Google. Google is a wonderful tool, by the way. Let's see. Shakespeare, though interesting. Though commonly attributed to the bard Shakespeare, Shakespeare never wrote this. The line belongs to Walter Scott, but does it appear in a Shakespeare play? Because it has been said that Shakespeare stole some of the writings from other people. Interesting. Interesting. Well, you learn something new every single day. Thank you very much. Who was it that told me that? Marwen. Amazing. This is what I love about this community, is that we all learn together. You know, I don't get embarrassed. I make mistakes all the time. I'm a native. That's what we do. But what's great is that you are all so supportive and that we all learn together. And that's why I love you guys so much. So fabulous. I will never say that again. I mean, I will say it, but I'll say it was Walter Scott, not Shakespeare. Great. Okay, so let us keep going. What are my patrons saying here? My daughter said that her dog ate her notebook for an excuse for not doing her homework. So my daughter said the dog ate her notebook as an excuse for not doing her homework. So you see that difference. My daughter said the dog ate her notebook as an excuse. As an excuse for not doing, not make. In this case, you use doing. You do your homework. You don't make your homework. So it's an excuse for not doing her homework. And you guys have said, how many notebooks does a dog eat in a year? Is a hungry dog once a week? Oh dear. In fact, I have an interesting story. I hope this doesn't bore you, by the way. My father used to be paid in cash at the end of the week. He worked in security, and he used to get a pay packet at the end of the week. Lots of notes, paper money. And we had a Rottweiler dog, a big Rottweiler, beautiful, very gentle dog. The dog liked to chew things. You know where this is going. The dog liked to chew things, so we would leave a bag of potatoes for the dog to chew, so the dog wouldn't chew the furniture. One day we went out of the house and we forgot to have a bag of potatoes ready for the dog. We got back and the dog had chewed my dad's pay packet. So it might have been, I don't know, maybe £500. My dog had eaten through £500. We lost £500 because we forgot to buy a bag of potatoes for the dog. So I would like to know what the dog's excuse was, to be honest. Some of you commenting again on my necklace. This was a gift from a student. Isn't it pretty? Yes, I love it very much too. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Alrighty. Oh gosh, we've been on for an hour. It's so easy to talk about this subject. Let's carry on. So, one other thing you should avoid when you are telling lies, making excuses, you should avoid forgetting your own lie. There's nothing worse than deceiving people and then forgetting what it was you said in the first place. So don't forget your own lie. That's just a quick one. All right, so Then we come on to the subject of choosing an excuse. So you want to get out of work, or you haven't done your homework. What are you going to excuse? Or you haven't done the housework. You promised your wife, you haven't done it. What do you go, why haven't you done it? Well, here are a few things you can blame. You can blame a family situation. You can say, oh, normally people talk about illnesses or a bad situation. So there's been a death in the family. I would avoid doing this one. I'd be very, very careful when talking about deaths in the family. I just think it's very bad luck to pretend that someone has died. I know people who've done it. I know someone who pretended that their mother had died. And I think, all joking aside, I think that's an awful thing to lie about. I just think it's a bad thing to lie about, but people do it. But you could say that, you could just generally say that I'm having family problems. Having family problems, or maybe you're going through a divorce or something like that. You could say I'm having issues. Having personal problems is another thing some people say. So they avoid giving a specific issue. They just say I'm having personal problems. And then the person who you're telling this to goes, oh, I don't want to pry. Have you heard this word? I don't want to pry. I don't want to dig for information because it's obviously sensitive. I don't want to upset you, so I don't want to pry. So they won't ask you anything. Oh, you're having family problems. You're having personal problems. Okay. I won't ask anymore. You can have the day off. It's fine. I'll excuse you from having to hand in that project. You could also, some people talk a lot about illness, and we've already talked about pulling a sickie. So it might be that you're just saying, I didn't finish my homework because I was very ill. I was up all night being sick, so now I'm too tired to come to work. You could blame transport. So why are you late for work? Oh, the train was delayed. I have definitely done that. When I've been late because I'm just dilly-dallying in the morning, if I'm dilly-dallying and then I end up being late for work, then I just say, oh, sorry, the train was terrible. The train was so delayed. My train was cancelled. Or my car wouldn't start is another one, because they can't check. They don't know how to check your car. Or I was cycling and I got a flat tyre. How annoying. Oh dear, Gal, one of my patrons, has said, when I was serving in the army, my grandma, I shouldn't laugh actually, so my grandma died 3 times because she kept using that excuse. Oh, Gal, that's terrible. Anyway, you could also blame technology. So you could say, here's one. I'm so sorry I'm late. My alarm didn't go off. I don't know what happened. I set my alarm and it didn't go off. I'm sure someone else has used that excuse as well. It's not just me. Or sometimes you might say, my phone just died. If you were supposed to be on a date or you didn't call your partner or something, I'm sorry I didn't call you. Instead, you were out drinking or having a party, and I'm sorry I didn't call you. My phone died. My battery died. I'm sorry. When in fact, you turned your phone off because you were having a good time and you didn't want your partner to know. Or you didn't want your partner to feel bad or feel jealous or anything. So you turn off your phone and say, yeah, my phone died. That means the battery ran out. Schwabek says, and the train had a tyre issue. Tyre on a vehicle is spelt T-Y-R-E. T-Y-R-E. And of course, trains don't have tyres. They have metal wheels. Silly. I know, you're only kidding anyway. Okay, so we could blame travel, we could blame technology, we could also feign ignorance. This might be a word you haven't seen before. Feign. To feign is to pretend. To feign is to pretend. So I feign ignorance. I pretend that I didn't know. To be ignorant, to not know. So if I pretend to be ignorant, if you say to me, where is that project? Where is your homework? I could go, what homework? Was there homework? Was there homework? I didn't know. when did you give us homework? Or sometimes you might turn up to work and you're late, and you know you're late, but you go in and say, oh, sorry, I thought my shift started at 3 o'clock today. I'm sorry, I didn't realise I started at 2. Ugh, silly me. I hope it wasn't too difficult for you without me. So you feign ignorance, you pretend that you don't know. Okay? Or you could blame Mother Nature is the other thing. So Mother Nature, the weather. You can say, I couldn't get out of my house this morning because the snow was so thick, or the ice on the road was so treacherous I couldn't drive to work, or the train stopped because of the ice on the tracks, or something like that. So you blame the weather. There was a hurricane last night. It blew my house down. So you blame Mother Nature. You blame Mother Nature. All right, so here's a very quick writing exercise. This is aimed at my patrons. So what I want you to do is come up with an excuse for these situations. So you don't have to do all of them, just choose one. So it could be that you are coming up with an excuse for having forgotten to do your project or your homework. So what's your excuse? Give me an excuse. Or you're coming up with an excuse because you don't want to go to work. Or you've broken your best friend's camera and you don't want to tell him that you've broken it, or you don't want to tell her. So give me an excuse for that. Here are some other situations. You were babysitting and you accidentally spilt coffee on the cream carpet. Have I spelled spilt right? Is that correct? Is it spilled? Spilt coffee, that's fine. Or you have dated a boy or girl for a few months, but you've met someone you like a lot more, so you've decided to end it with the boy or girl. However, you don't want to hurt their feelings. So what is your excuse? What is your excuse? So I want you to come up with an excuse for one of these situations. Okay? So while you're doing that, so choose one of these situations, guys. You've forgotten to do your project or homework. You don't want to go to work. You've broken your best friend's camera. You were babysitting and you accidentally spilled coffee on the cream carpet. What are you going to say when the owners come home? Or you're dating someone you don't want to date anymore, but you don't want to hurt their feelings. What do you say to them? So while my patrons are coming up with an excuse for one of those, we're going to move on to how to excuse yourself. So earlier I spoke about if you're on the dinner table and you want to excuse yourself, or if you're in a meeting and everyone's talking, even if it's a social meeting, everyone's talking, blah, 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 and you just need to go. Maybe you need to take a phone call or you need to go to the bathroom. Then you simply say, it's polite, in the UK, it's polite to say, rather than just get up and walk away, or for example, some people do this and I think it's terribly rude. But in some cultures it's acceptable, but here it's rude. If we're having a conversation, we're all talking, even if it's a relaxed, hi, yeah, good, yeah, ha, ha, having a normal conversation, then my phone rings and I just go, hey, yeah, ah, ha, ha, yeah. For me, taking that call without excusing myself first is considered very rude. I don't know if it's different in your country, please tell me, but here it's considered very rude. So what you would say is, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have to take this call. So you say, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have to go. And you normally give a reason, so I have to take this call. You don't have to say why, say, I'm sorry, I have to do this, or I'm sorry, I need a moment, or I'm sorry, I must go to the bathroom. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'll just be a minute, I need to go. Okay, so you say, excuse me first. You could just say, may I be excused? I'm sorry. May I be excused? I need to make a phone call. Or you could say, could I be excused? I'm sorry, could I just be excused for a moment? You could say, I just need to excuse myself for a moment, for a few minutes. I just need to excuse myself. I need to make a phone call. Or you could simply say, I am sorry, but I need to make a call. I need to go. I need to use the bathroom. Okay? Alrighty. So that's how to excuse yourself. So just an important little note of when you're in a situation, when you're with someone else and you need to break it off for a moment, you always should excuse yourself. It's considered polite. Alrighty. So, Erwi says it's not rude. In your countries it's not rude, but it's antisocial. Yeah, it's very antisocial, isn't it? Okay, my patrons, I've got some excuses coming through here. I'm making an excuse to get out of the writing exercise, says Dennis. Very funny, very funny. Gal says, Anna, we need to break up. It's not you, it's me. I need more time to myself. Brilliant. The only little correction I would do there is to put an apostrophe here because this is a contraction of it is, it's. So you need a little apostrophe between the T and the S. But that is a common excuse, isn't it? When people are breaking up with a boyfriend or girlfriend, it's not you, it's me. It's a terrible excuse. Absolutely terrible excuse. But very funny. Good gal, thank you. Thank you for making me laugh. I'm on the people who established this when you had... Oh, Ahmed. So Ahmed says, I was one of the people who established this channel when I only had 300 followers. So that must have been back in like September time. And now I have, what is it, like 31,000 lovely followers. So yeah, thank you for sticking with me all this time. And I hope that you found the channel helpful and that you find everything that I'm doing progressive. I'm always trying to improve what I do and what I offer. Always trying to reward my patrons, but also make sure that everyone who watches gets as much content as they can consume, as they're interested in. Okay, so I am going to wrap up. I do have an appointment at 12:30, so in 15 minutes time. Slavek has a quick excuse. He's saying, sorry, sorry, I have to go to check something. Perfect. So that's you excusing yourself from the situation. Before I go, let's have a quick look at numbers of likes. Ooh, we're on 129 likes. Thank you guys. That really, really means a lot. So all I'm going to say now is I hope you have a lovely weekend. If you are here and you're not subscribed, then please do press the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. And press the bell notification button if you'd like to be notified about future lessons. I will be releasing a video later today, which I think you're going to love. So do look out for that one. If you click the bell notification button, then you should be notified when I release it. I do also have some incredible lessons that I've done previously, some live, some pre-recorded, but do go and check them out. There's over 100 lessons here for you free. I am going live tomorrow, but not here on YouTube. Oh, shock horror. I'm going to go live on Facebook. Yes, I'm going to go live on Facebook, and this will be at 5 o'clock UK time on Facebook tomorrow. If you're not following me on Facebook already, then the links are in the description box below, along with the Instagram links. I'm doing daily pronunciation practice on Instagram, so come and join me for that one. Again, this is all free. I try and do as much for you as I possibly can. If you are interested in becoming a patron and getting that extra bit of love and helping me to grow this channel so that I can make it even better for everybody to consume, then you are more than welcome. So go and check out the rewards on offer, and the Patreon link is also down in the description box below. If you're interested in sounding like me, if you want pronunciation, British English pronunciation, I do offer a course. It's very reasonable. I made it very, very cheap. And that's available on britishenglishpro.com. I also do private lessons, some of you asked me about that, and private conversation practice, that's also available. I don't have much availability at the moment, but you know, if you're quick, then you might be able to bag a few slots if you're interested in that. All of those things can be found on britishenglishpro.com in the shop there. Otherwise, thank you guys. Dennis says, extra bit of love, question mark. So you can buy love. Yes, you can buy my love. That's not a really good, very good thing to say, is it? You can buy my love here on YouTube just by becoming a patron. You help me to help everybody else, then I love you in return. It's very silly. Okay, David has said, thank you very much for the lesson. Thanks for everything you do for us. Kiss, kiss, kiss. David, you're very welcome. Thank you for being a patron. Your support is hugely appreciated. I don't think there's anything left to say. There are plenty of links down below for you to check out. I hope to see you on Facebook tomorrow. I must now go and get ready for my 12:30 appointment. And yeah, guys, you've been amazing. So subscribe, like, share, join me on the other social media platforms, and have a lovely weekend. Lots of love from London. I will see you tomorrow. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye for now.